How's it going, everybody? My name is Chase Keep and welcome to my channel. Today I've done a video about the 3 options that you have when it comes to your money. You can basically choose any of these 3 options anytime that you have a little bit of money in your pocket, whether it's $1, $5, $20, or $10,000, no matter how much it is. You have 3 options with that money, and each of those will lead to 3 very different lifestyles. And I wanted to touch on each of those here today and hopefully teach you a little something about which of these might be kind of healthier and how they can benefit you in the long run. The 3 options are the following. You can either spend your money, do nothing with your money, or you can invest your money. And basically, whichever one of these options you choose is going to lead to a very different lifestyle. So I'm going to jump into each of these 3 individually, starting with the first one, which is choosing to spend your money. All right, so the first option is going to be to spend your money. And this is specifically for things that you spend your money on that will not generate you any type of money or somehow create value for you in the future. For anything that you do buy that will create some value for you or will generate some type of more money for you in the future, we're actually going to talk about that a little bit later on because that's not exactly in this category of spending. But basically anything that is in this category is something that you buy for the immediate satisfaction of having or owning that item versus buying it so that it will increase value over time. This is the one that a lot of the people that are in my kind of age group and the people that I know, this is the one that they follow mostly. This is the option that they choose almost exclusively when it comes to their money. I'm 22 years old, and really most of the people that I know who are in a similar phase of life to me, they actually choose this option more often than not, where they spend money on things that give them something right away, but otherwise doesn't create value for them in the long run. And this can come as something as simple as buying food at a restaurant instead of just eating something cheaper at home, or spending money on clothes that you don't necessarily need, or on some type of experience or trip or anything like that. Just anything that you spend that money on and then the money's immediately gone, the value is gone. You can think about it with food. If you buy fast food, you're immediately taking that $5, you're getting something in return, but once you eat that food, the value is basically gone. And that's exactly what we're talking about here with this category of spending. These things that you're spending money on are in reality liabilities. They're things that will not help you in the future, and they will not get you any closer to being rich or just having financial security or financial independence or something like that in the future. Because once you spend money on them, that's it. They lose that value entirely right then and there, and they will not help you increase your net worth and increase the amount of money that you have to your name. And like I said at the beginning of the video, each of these particular options is going to lead to a very specific lifestyle in the future. If you choose to spend almost all of the money that you make, you are inevitably going to get into this loop of constantly needing to buy more things just to get that same level of satisfaction, just to conquer that craving that you have to spend some money. And inevitably what you end up doing is becoming almost addicted to that process of needing to spend money just to maintain that level of happiness. No matter how much money that you're actually making, you just constantly need to spend more and more and more in order to conquer that craving. And realistically, it's very similar to some type of addiction, right? Where you need to spend money just to maintain level of happiness, and that's just an unhealthy relationship. No matter how much money you're making, you're always going to be spending almost all of it. You're not going to have that financial security with some of that money left over. You're going to feel tempted to spend that money all the time. And it's just, again, not a healthy relationship with money, and it's not going to help improve your net worth, improve the money to your name in the future. And if that's something that you want to do, if you do want to potentially like get rich one day, feel financially secure and live your best life one day, this is not the option to take for you. And I do want to say real quickly that my goal of this video is to keep you from spending money entirely. That's absolutely not what I'm trying to say. In reality, I think it's totally fine if you occasionally go out and spend some money, buy some type of experience, go on a trip, just spend some money here and there. But honestly, the problem is when that one-time expense turns into a habit and you start to develop these bad habits of constantly spending more money than you actually have. If you do that, you're going to really find yourself in debt and just not having enough money to stay happy. And that's overall just not a positive thing. Again, it's an unhealthy relationship with money and something that we're going to try to avoid. And one way to avoid that lifestyle is to actually choose one of the other options, which brings us to option number 2, and that's to basically do nothing with your money. This is another one that a lot of people do when they don't have that knowledge of kind of personal finance and the power of money and how it can basically work for them, is they basically just do nothing with your money. It's very similar to having some cash that you keep in your wallet and it stays there at all times, or putting it under your mattress or in a savings account that doesn't generate any interest at all. It's just kind of sitting there. This is doing nothing with your money. It's not growing in value, it's not decreasing in value, it's just staying the same. This is for people who are trying to maintain that status quo, right? And honestly, what it will do, the positive of this, is that you will have some financial security in that if something were to happen to you, some type of emergency, you needed money right then and there, you know that you have some because you've just been keeping that money right there at all times. So in that way, this option is a little bit better than option one because you are having a little bit more financial security, and that's just going to help you overall. But there are still better things that you can do with your money. If you want to increase your net worth, if you want to one day have that financial stability to be able to live any type of life that you want, you're really going to have to let that money work for you and put it somewhere else where it's going to generate value for you in the future. And that brings us to the third option. Option number 3 is to invest that money. And I know when I say invest, most people immediately probably think of investing in the stock market, right? Buying stocks and trading stocks and things like that. But there are a lot of ways that you can invest your money. It doesn't just have to be in stocks or bonds or index funds or notes or whatever. It doesn't have to be just that. There are actually other ways that you can invest your money. One of those ways is to invest in yourself. You're investing in yourself right now by watching this YouTube video. If you learn something from this YouTube video, apply it to your life, and that helps you make money in the future, that's an investment. You just invested some time to get that. Similarly, if you buy a book on personal finance and it teaches you something about finance, and then one day you take what you learned in that book and apply it to real life and it helps you make money, then you just invested in that book and your investment paid off when you started to make money because of what you learned in that book. That's entirely an investment, just like buying something in the stock market and then selling it on for a higher price. It's the exact same thing. And while option 1 is really a way to basically conquer your craving for spending money and having something new, and option 2 is really just keeping that status quo, this option number 3, investing your money, this is how you can grow your personal net wealth. This is how you can grow your income. This is how you can take the money that you have right now and watch it increase in value over time until it really is something a lot more than what you had before. And this is where we get to the power of money. I talked about this a little bit in option number 2, but basically when you start to invest your money, what you'll find is that there is an inherent power that money has to basically compound on itself and increase in value the longer that you invest in it. If you invest some money today and then you make a little bit off of that investment tomorrow, and then you take that little bit that you made and invest it back in, you're basically increasing the amount of money that you're investing, and that's called compound interest. And over time, that's really going to lead to some massive gains for you. That's going to allow you to one day be rich, to one day be financially secure and feel financially stable, and that's 100% the goal for a lot of people, right? If you're someone who does want to live that life one day, this is the way to go. This is the option to choose. And again, while any of these options is honestly okay, I'm not going to try and tell you that any of them are completely wrong and that you shouldn't be living any of them. The important thing is to try and cultivate some good habits when it comes to money and financial decisions. If more often than not you invest money instead of spending it, you're going to find yourself making more money in the long run and increasing your net worth over time. And that's exactly why I say that it's totally fine to sometimes spend money, to sometimes splurge. If you're really used to that lifestyle, then it's going to take some time to work through it anyways, right? But it's totally fine as long as it doesn't become your entire lifestyle, as long as you at least have some of these good habits involved and you start to make the good habits more pronounced than the bad habits, you're going to be in a better spot financially. And that's the biggest advice I can give you. It really doesn't take any massive wholesale changes to really find that financial freedom that you're looking for. What it really takes are some small changes. And one of the biggest things you can do is to actively try and implement as many good habits as you can in life while trying to cut down on the bad habits that you already do. And the more that you can increase the difference between the two and practice good habits more, the better off you'll be. But with that, I hope you guys learned something today in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was able to teach you a little something that you didn't know before. And if it did, please turn that like button blue. It really helps me out. It helps this video get pushed to more and more people, and therefore will help teach them a little something new. Subscribe so you don't miss another upload. Comment down below if there's anything that you want to talk about with me, anything that you learned in this episode that you want to talk about more, anything like that, comment down below. But with that, I hope you guys are all having an amazingly frugal day, and I will see you all next time.